The hospital ship Mercy's Embrace floated peacefully through space. Its white hull shone brightly against the darkness. Large red medical symbols marked its sides, visible from every angle. This was no warship. It carried no weapons. Its mission was simple: to help the sick and injured. Commander Taehyun Kim stood tall on the bridge. His uniform was clean and pressed, showing his position as the ship's leader. He looked out at the stars through the large viewing window. After 20 years in the Terran Confederate Navy, he still found space beautiful. "Commander, the final report is ready," said Medical Officer Ji-woo Park as she handed him a tablet. Kim nodded and reviewed the information. The Mercy's Embrace had just finished its mission at Proxima Centauri 2, a human colony torn apart by civil war. For 3 months they had treated wounded from all sides of the conflict. They had saved over 2,000 lives. "We did good work," Kim said quietly. "Yes, sir," Ji-woo agreed. "Though I wish we could have stayed longer. There are still many people suffering down there." Kim sighed. "Our supplies were running low. We will return with more help after we resupply at Earth." The bridge was calm. The soft beeping of machines and quiet conversations of the crew created a peaceful atmosphere. Most of the ship's space was filled with medical bays and recovery rooms. Over 300 doctors, nurses, and support staff worked around the clock. The patients included humans, several alien allies, and even a few Neverans, a species known for their aggression toward Earth. "Sir," called out Navigation Officer Dong-ho Bae, his voice breaking the calm. "Sensors are picking up ships approaching from Sector 7. Kim turned to the main screen. "Put it on display. Are they signaling?" "No, sir," Dong-ho replied, his fingers moving across the control panel. "I've sent standard greetings on all frequencies. No response yet." The screen showed 3 vessels approaching rapidly. Their design was unmistakable: angular, dark, with protruding weapon ports. Neveran warships. "This is a neutral zone," Kim said, his brow furrowing with concern. "And we are clearly marked as a medical vessel. Try emergency channels." "Still no response, sir," Dong-ho reported, tension rising in his voice. Security Chief Min-ho Kang moved to Kim's side. "Sir, should we raise shields?" Kim hesitated. Hospital ships carried only minimal defensive shields, just enough to protect against space debris and small meteorites. Using even these limited defenses could be seen as a hostile act. "Our status as a medical ship is clear," Kim said firmly. "We are protected under the Galactic Accord. All species, including the Neverans, have signed it." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. The Neverans had been pushing boundaries lately, testing human resolve as they expanded their territory. "Sir," Ji-woo said softly, "we have over 2,000 patients on board, including 300 critically wounded." Before Kim could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Red warning lights flashed across every screen. "We've been hit," shouted Dong-ho, his voice filled with disbelief. "The Neverans are firing on us!" Another blast rocked the ship. This time alarms blared throughout every corridor. "Damage report," Kim commanded, gripping his chair as the ship trembled. Min-ho's face paled as he read the incoming data. "Direct hit to sections 12 through 15. Medical Bay C is... It's gone, sir. We've lost all hands in that section." Kim stared in horror. Medical Bay C held over 50 critical patients and 12 medical staff. "This is Commander Taehyun Kim of the Terran hospital ship Mercy's Embrace," he broadcast on all frequencies. "We are an unarmed medical vessel protected under Article 7 of the Galactic Accord. Please cease fire immediately. We have wounded civilians from multiple species on board, including Neveran nationals." The only response was another barrage of weapons fire. The ship lurched sideways as power fluctuated. The lights dimmed, then returned at half brightness. "Emergency, power only," reported Engineer Subin Yoon over the comm system. "Main reactor is damaged. We can't take much more of this." Kim made a quick decision. "Begin evacuation procedures. Get all patients to escape pods. Priority to critical cases first, then medical staff needed to care for them." The crew moved with practiced efficiency despite their shock. Hospital ships regularly drilled for emergencies. though none had expected to evacuate due to a direct attack. Dong-ho, set course for the nearest assistance, maximum speed. Sir, engines are at 30%, we can't outrun them. Another hit sent sparks flying from a nearby console. A young ensign screamed as she was thrown across the bridge. Sir, Jiwoo called out, her voice steady despite the chaos. The first escape pods are away, but we need at least 40 minutes to evacuate everyone. Kim knew they didn't have 40 minutes. Send a priority distress call to Earth Command. Include all sensor data proving this was an unprovoked attack. Communications are damaged, Minho reported grimly. Short range only. Then broadcast to any nearby ships, Kim ordered, and prepare a data buoy with all records. Launch it on my command. The next hit was the worst yet. The entire ship seemed to fold inward as a Neveran energy beam cut through the main medical bay. Screams echoed through the corridors as patients and medical staff were exposed to the vacuum of space. 63 escape pods away, Jiwoo reported, tears streaming down her face as she watched the life signs of hundreds disappear from her monitor. Kim stood tall despite the destruction around him. Launch the data buoy now. A small object shot away from the dying ship, carrying the truth of what had happened. This is wrong, Dong-ho whispered, voicing what everyone felt. We were helping their people too. Kim looked at his brave crew. Continue. Evacuation as long as possible. It has been my honor to serve with you all. The Mercy's embrace shuddered again as another blast tore through its hull. Emergency bulkheads sealed automatically, trapping some while giving others a chance to reach the remaining escape pods. On Earth, 27 light minutes away, the first distress signals were about to arrive. The unprovoked destruction of a hospital ship would shock humanity to its core. But how Earth would respond would surprise everyone, especially the Neverans. As Commander Kim helped a wounded doctor into one of the last functioning escape pods, he had no way of knowing that this tragedy would lead to a fundamental shift in how humans dealt with aggression. The Neverans had made a terrible mistake. They had assumed that attacking the defenseless would demonstrate their power. Instead, it would reveal their profound misunderstanding of human nature. The Grand Assembly Hall of the United Earth Government in New Seoul was packed. High glass walls showed the city skyline outside. Hundreds of officials sat in curved rows, their faces grim. At the front, large screens displayed images of the destroyed hospital ship Mercy's Embrace. Admiral Hunbin Lee stood at the speaker's podium. His gray uniform carried many medals from his 30 years of service. His face was red with anger as he pointed at the screens. This was a clear act of war, he said, his voice echoing through the hall. The Neverans knew exactly what they were attacking. The ship had clear medical markings. It carried no weapons. It even had Neveran patients on board. Murmurs of anger spread through the crowd. Many called for immediate military action. The Terran Confederate Navy had enough ships to strike back hard at Neveran territories. We should send a battle fleet to their homeworld, shouted one general. Show them that attacking the defenseless has consequences. More voices joined in agreement. The mood in the room grew dark with thoughts of revenge. President Yoon-ji Cho rose from her seat. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, but when she raised her hand, the room fell silent. Her simple blue suit had no decorations or medals. Her strength came from her words, not displays of power. We have all seen the records, she said, calmly. We have all felt the same anger and pain. The Neverans took the lives of our doctors, nurses, and patients. They violated every rule of civilized conduct. She walked slowly to the center of the stage. But I ask you this. What do the Neverans expect us to do now? The room was quiet as people considered her question. They expect us to either cower in fear or attack in blind rage, she continued. They believe humans are simple creatures, easy to predict. They attacked our hospital ship because they think we are weak or that we will respond with such violence that other species will turn against us. Admiral Lee frowned. Madam President, with all respect, we cannot let this go unanswered. Our people demand justice. And they will have it, President Cho assured him. But not in the way anyone expects. She turned to a thin man sitting quietly in the front row. Dr. Minji-song, please join me. Dr. Song walked slowly to the stage. His hair was white, his face lined with age. He carried a small metal case. Dr. Song is our leading xenobiologist and environmental engineer, President Cho explained. For 40 years he has studied what makes Earth unique among all worlds we have discovered. Dr. Song placed his case on a table and opened it. Inside was a small container of soil and another of water. "This looks simple," Dr. Song said, his voice soft but clear. "Just dirt and water from Earth. But they contain something no Neveran weapon can defeat. Life that has survived 5 major extinction events." He picked up the container of soil. "Earth is special. Our planet has developed the most resilient life forms in the known galaxy. Our microbes, plants, and animals have adapted to conditions that would kill life from other worlds." Admiral Lee looked confused. "Doctor, how does this help us against Neveran warships?" Dr. Song smiled gently. "Admiral, have you ever wondered why Earth recovers so quickly from natural disasters? Why radiation zones become green again? Why our oceans can clear pollution faster than any other world?" He turned to face the entire assembly. "Earth's life does not just survive. It works together. It heals. It adapts. And we have learned to work with it." President Cho stepped forward again. "Dr. Song has developed what he calls biological shields. They are colonies of engineered organisms based on Earth life. They can absorb energy from weapons, grow stronger from attacks, and protect our colonies without harming anyone." The screens changed to show diagrams of small pods releasing clouds of microscopic life forms. These clouds formed shimmering barriers around human settlements. "We will not build bigger guns," President Cho declared. "We will not sink to the level of those who attack the defenseless. Instead, we will show the galaxy what makes humans truly special, our connection to Earth and all its life." The room was silent as officials tried to understand this unexpected approach. "This is our response," President Cho continued. "Operation Earthshield. We will deploy these biological defenses to all human colonies. When the Neverans attack again, their weapons will make our shields stronger, not weaker." Admiral Lee studied the diagrams with growing interest. "You mean to tell me these organisms can stop energy weapons?" Dr. Song nodded. "Some Earth creatures can survive in the vacuum of space. Others can withstand radiation that would kill us thousands of times over, and still others can turn energy into food. We have combined these abilities to create shields that grow stronger with each attack. And the best part," added President Cho, "is that these shields harm no one. They simply make attacks useless." A young military officer raised her hand. "But this is just defense. What about striking back at the Neverans?" President Cho's expression grew serious. "The Neverans believe power comes from destruction. We will show them that true power comes from creation and adaptation. When their attacks fail, when they see that we can protect ourselves without harming others, it will change how all species view conflict." Dr. Song opened a small viewer in his case. It showed microscopic creatures multiplying and forming complex structures. "These are building themselves using materials from their surroundings," he explained. "They can repair damage almost instantly. The more energy directed at them, the faster they grow and adapt." Admiral Lee's expression changed from doubt to wonder. "You're saying that attacking us would actually make us stronger?" "Exactly," Dr. Song confirmed. "It is how Earth has always worked. Life here doesn't just recover from disasters, it uses them as opportunities to evolve." President Cho looked around the room. "We have a choice. We can respond as the Neverans expect and become more like them, or we can show the galaxy a new way forward." She pointed to the final image of the destroyed Mercy's embrace. "They attacked a ship dedicated to healing. We will respond by showing them the ultimate healing power, Earth's ability to protect life, not destroy it." The assembly hall buzzed with conversation as officials discussed this radical approach. Some were still doubtful, but many were intrigued. "I propose we name our first new vessel Earth's Bounty," President Cho said. "It will not be a warship. It will be a ship that carries Earth's gifts to the stars." Admiral Lee, who had entered the room wanting vengeance, now stood thoughtfully. "The Neverans will not understand at first. They may see this as weakness. Let them, Dr. Song replied. The strongest trees bend in the storm, while rigid ones break. As the assembly voted, overwhelmingly to approve Operation Earthshield, news arrived that Neveran ships had been spotted near another human colony. They clearly expected a weakened, distracted Earth. They would soon learn how wrong they were. In labs across Earth, scientists began working day and night. They weren't building weapons. They were working with Earth's smallest, strongest children to create a defense that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. The Neverans had fired on a hospital ship, expecting fear or rage in return. Instead, they would face Earth itself. 3 months passed since the attack on the Mercy's Embrace. Deep beneath Mount Baekdu in Korea, Dr. Min Jae-song walked through the largest laboratory complex ever built by humans. The mountain had been hollowed out to create a space where Earth's greatest minds could work together. "How is the tardigrade integration progressing?" Dr. Song asked as he entered the main research area. Dr. Ji-hee Kang looked up from her microscope. Her eyes were tired from working 20 hours straight, but they still showed excitement. "See for yourself," she said, stepping aside. Dr. Song looked through the microscope. Tiny organisms moved on the slide. They were modified tardigrades, microscopic, creatures known for surviving extreme conditions, including the vacuum of space. But these were special. They had been combined with coral DNA. They formed a perfect lattice structure, Dr. Ji-hee explained. When exposed to energy weapons in our tests, they absorbed the energy and used it to multiply. The more energy we fired at them, the stronger their formation became. Dr. Song smiled. "And they stay connected to each other?" "Yes, they form a living net that gets thicker and more resilient with each attack. We've named them shield weavers." In another section of the vast lab, Lieutenant Sun-woo Park worked with a team of engineers. They stood around a large circular platform where small, metal pods were being assembled. "These deployment pods can each carry 1 billion shield weavers," Sun-woo explained to a group of visiting officials. "When released into a planet's upper atmosphere, they burst open, and the weavers link together to form a protective dome over our settlements." One of the visitors, an older military officer, looked skeptical. "And you're certain these organisms won't harm the environments where we deploy them?" "Absolutely," Sun-woo assured him. "They feed only on energy from weapons fire and sunlight. When not under attack, they remain dormant. If no attacks come for a month, they simply break down into basic elements that enrich the soil." The officer nodded, impressed. "No waste, no harm. That's better than any defense system we've built before." Dr. Song continued his tour of the facility. In each section, scientists from different fields worked together. Botanists studied fast-growing plants that could heal radiation damage. Marine biologists adapted deep-sea creatures that thrived near volcanic vents to create heat shields. Entomologists engineered insects that could repair damaged structures faster than any machine. "We've never seen cooperation like this," remarked Hana Jin, the project coordinator. "Scientists who used to compete for funding and recognition now share everything. It's like the attack united not just our people, but our knowledge. Fear and anger divide," Dr. Song replied. "Purpose unites." In the space dock orbiting Earth, Admiral Hyunbin Lee floated through the modified interior of what would become the flagship of Earth's new fleet. Instead of weapon bays, the ship contained vast chambers filled with growing organisms. "These cultivation chambers will produce enough shield weavers to protect 3 colonies," explained Chief Engineer Jae-hyun Choi. "The ship itself is partially grown rather than just built." Admiral Lee ran his hand along a wall that seemed to pulse gently. "It feels alive." "It is," Jae-hyun confirmed. 20% of the hull is composed of living material that can seal breaches and absorb impacts. It's stronger than any metal alloy we've developed." Admiral Lee, who had spent his career commanding warships, felt a strange new emotion as he explored this vessel. It wasn't designed to destroy. It was designed to nurture and protect. "We're changing everything about how we approach space," he said quietly. "Yes, sir. And not just how we build ships. Look at this." Jae-hyun led him to a viewing port. Outside, hundreds of small craft moved around the main ship. They weren't military vessels. They were research ships from a dozen different species. Word has spread about what we're doing, Jae-hyun explained. These are scientists from other worlds who want to learn and contribute. Even species that used to avoid contact with humans have sent representatives. As news traveled throughout the galaxy about Earth's response to the Neveran attack, something unexpected happened. Instead of seeing humans as either weak or dangerously aggressive, other species began to view Earth with new respect. The Loraki, tree-like beings who had always kept to themselves, sent their best botanists. The aquatic Moreni shared knowledge about creating oxygen from minimal resources. Even the silicon-based Drath, who rarely left their home system, contributed understanding of how to integrate living organisms with technology. We're calling it the Earth Alliance, President Yoon-ji Cho explained to her cabinet. Not an alliance of military power, but of shared knowledge about life's resilience. In the main assembly area of the Mount Baekdu complex, Dr. Song addressed the growing community of Earth and alien scientists. For too long, species have tried to overcome each other through destruction, he said. Earth teaches us a different lesson. After every disaster in our planet's history, asteroid impacts, ice ages, massive volcanic eruptions, life not only survived but developed new forms. Earth doesn't just resist change, it uses change to grow stronger. A Loraki scientist raised one of his branch-like limbs. On our world, we have always believed that wisdom comes from adaptation, not domination. We see now that humans understand this too, despite your reputation as warriors. Dr. Song nodded. Humans can fight when necessary, but our greatest achievements have always come from working with life, not against it. In orbit, Admiral Lee received a priority communication from an outpost near the Tau Ceti system. Sir, our long-range scanners have detected a large Neveran fleet moving toward our colony there. At least 60 warships. The officers on the bridge tensed, waiting for orders to prepare for battle. Admiral Lee surprised them with his calm response. Is the Earth's bounty ready for its first deployment? Yes, sir. All systems are functional, and the shield weaver chambers are at full capacity. Then send word to Commander Junho Han. The Earth's bounty will lead a small group of ships to Tau Ceti. Their mission is defense only. No offensive weapons are to be used under any circumstances. The communications officer stared in shock. Sir, with respect, 60 Neveran warships will easily overwhelm a small defensive force. Admiral Lee smiled. That's what the Neverans think too. They're expecting us to either abandon the colony or send our entire fleet for a major battle. We're going to show them something new instead. As the Earth's bounty prepared for departure, scientists loaded the final batches of shield weavers and other biological defenses. The ship looked nothing like traditional human vessels. Its smooth, curved hull seemed to glow with an inner light. Gardens filled its interior spaces, and clear tubes carried flowing water throughout its systems. Commander Junho Han stood on the bridge, looking at his diverse crew. Humans worked alongside members of 7 other species, all united by a shared vision. The Neverans believe they understand war, he told them. We're going to show them something far more powerful. Life that refuses to be destroyed. As the ship moved away from Earth, a message arrived from President Cho. Remember, your mission is to protect, not punish. Show them what humanity and Earth can truly do when challenged. The Earth's bounty accelerated toward its first real test. The Neveran fleet had no idea what was coming to meet them. They expected either weakness or vengeful violence. They would find neither. The Tau Ceti system glowed peacefully in the darkness of space. Its yellow sun warmed 5 planets, including Tau Ceti 4, home to the largest human colony outside the solar system. Nearly 1 million people lived there, farming the fertile valleys, and building cities that worked with the natural environment rather than against it. Commander Junho Han stood on the bridge of the Earth's bounty, watching as his small fleet of 7 ships took up defensive positions around the colony. Unlike traditional military formations, they spread out in a wide circle. Status report, Junho requested, his voice calm despite the tension filling the bridge. Long-range sensors confirm 63 Neveran warships approaching, reported Tactical Officer Do-hyun Yoon. They will arrive in approximately 4 hours. Junho nodded. And our defenses? Shield Weaver pods are ready for deployment. All ships report their cultivation chambers are at full capacity. From her station at communications, Officer Yona Kim turned with concern on her face. Commander, I've informed the colonial government about the incoming Neveran fleet. They're requesting evacuation of civilian populations. Junho understood their fear. News of the hospital ship attack had spread throughout human space. Everyone knew what the Neverans were capable of. Tell Governor Jiho that evacuation is unnecessary, Junho replied. Our defenses will hold, but as a precaution, have people move to underground shelters. Yona looked uncertain. Sir, they're asking how 7 ships can defend against 63 warships. Junho smiled gently. Tell them we bring Earth's strength, not just our own. As the hours passed, the colony cities emptied as people moved to safety. On the surface, it might have looked like the humans were retreating, giving up their homes to the coming invaders. The Neveran fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the system, their black angular ships forming attack patterns. From the flagship, Supreme War Leader Mektor observed the human colony and the small defensive force. Only 7 ships? He growled, his scaled skin darkening with pleasure. The humans have either abandoned this colony or greatly underestimated our power. His second-in-command, sub-leader Kirvash, studied the sensor readings. The human vessels are unlike any we have encountered before. They do not appear to carry standard weapons. Mektor laughed, a harsh sound that made junior officers flinch. After we destroyed their hospital ship, they have become confused and weak. Perhaps these are evacuation vessels. Should we allow them to leave with the colonists? Asked Kirvash. No. The humans must learn that there is no escape from Neveran expansion. Target the largest population centers first, then destroy their ships one by one. Back on the Earth's bounty, Dohyun reported the Neveran fleet's movement. They're entering attack formation. Weapons are powering up. Junho took a deep breath. Everything they had worked for over the past 3 months would now be tested. Begin. Shield Weaver deployment. Target the colony first, then expand coverage. From all 7 human ships, thousands of small pods launched toward the colony. As they entered the upper atmosphere, they burst open, releasing clouds of what looked like glittering dust. The dust, actually billions of engineered microorganisms, quickly spread and connected, forming a shimmering dome over the human settlement below. It sparkled in the sunlight, a beautiful sight that hid its true strength. Shield dome is forming, Dohyun confirmed. Coverage at 60% and expanding. The Neverans are firing their first salvo, Yeona reported, her voice tight with worry. Everyone on the bridge held their breath as the first wave of Neveran energy weapons struck the shield. Instead of breaking or dissipating, something remarkable happened. The shield glowed brighter where the weapons hit, absorbing the energy. With each blast, the dome grew more solid, more visible. Shield integrity at 100%, Dohyun announced with amazement. No, wait, 120%. It's getting stronger with each hit. Junho nodded. Just as Dr. Song predicted, the Shield Weavers are using the energy to multiply and strengthen their connections. On the Neveran flagship, Mektor stared in confusion at the view screen. What is happening? Why is the colony still intact? Unknown, Supreme Leader, his science officer replied. Our weapons are hitting some kind of barrier. It appears to be growing stronger with each attack. Impossible, Mektor shouted. Increase. Power to all weapons. Target a single point in their shield. Break through. The Neveran fleet concentrated their fire on one section of the shield dome. The spot glowed intensely as tremendous energy struck it. But instead of weakening, that section of the shield grew thicker, more luminous. This cannot be, Mektor growled. No defense grows stronger when attacked. Launch fighters. They will fly through the shield and attack from within. Hundreds of small Neveran fighters launched from the larger ships, streaking toward the colony. As they hit the shield, they slowed dramatically but continued forward, pushing through the seemingly soft barrier. "Commander, Neveran fighters are penetrating the shield," Do-hyun reported. Junho remained calm. "That's expected. Deploy the second phase." From the Earth's bounty, another wave of pods launched. These contained different organisms, ones that formed a mist throughout the lower atmosphere. As the Neveran fighters pushed through the outer shield, they encountered this mist. Their engines began to sputter. The mist contained engineered bacteria that consumed certain types of fuel and metal alloys, specifically those used by Neveran ships. The fighters slowed, then stopped, hovering helplessly. "The Neveran fighters are disabled," Do-hyun reported. "They pose no threat now." Junho nodded. "Have our rescue craft collect them. No pilots are to be harmed." On the view screen, small human vessels moved to capture the stranded Neveran fighters, towing them safely to the ground. On his flagship, Mektor watched in growing rage as his fighters were captured without a single shot fired. "What kind of weapon is this? It stops our ships, but causes no damage." "Supreme Leader," the communications officer called out. "We are receiving a transmission from the human vessel." "Put it on screen," Mektor ordered. "I want to see the face of my enemy." Commander Junho Han's face appeared on the Neveran view screen. His expression was not angry or triumphant, just calmly determined. "This is Commander Junho Han of the Earth vessel Earth's Bounty. We have disabled your fighters without harming your pilots. They will be returned to you unharmed once the danger to our colony has passed." Mektor leaned forward. "What trickery is this, human? What weapons have you deployed?" "No weapons, war leader," Junho replied calmly. "Just life. Earth life. The same life you disregarded when you attacked our hospital ship. We've simply asked our planet's children to protect us, and they have answered." As he spoke, Junho ordered a small sample of the shield weavers to be transmitted to the Neveran vessel. "I'm sending you a sample of what you're facing. Your scientists are welcome to study it." When the sample arrived, Mektor ordered his science team to analyze it immediately. They were astonished to discover that the shield was made of living organisms, not technology. "These creatures are non-toxic," the lead scientist reported with surprise. "They appear to feed on energy, particularly the type produced by our weapons. The more we fire at them, the more they multiply and strengthen." Mektor could not understand. "How can a living thing stop energy weapons?" "Supreme Leader," another scientist added, "these organisms could potentially be adapted to help clean radiation and industrial waste from our military worlds. Their ability to absorb and transform energy could solve many of our environmental problems." For the first time in his military career, Mektor hesitated. The humans had found a way to defend themselves that offered benefits rather than destruction. It made no sense according to Neveran military doctrine. "Your ships remain intact," Junho continued from the view screen. "Your fighters' pilots are safe. You can leave this system and no further action will be taken, or you can continue your attack. Feed more energy to our shields and watch as they grow even stronger. The choice is yours." As Mektor considered his options, something unprecedented happened. Sub-Leader Kirvash stepped forward. "Supreme Leader, I request permission to speak with the human scientists about these organisms. If they can help restore our damaged homeworld." Mektor stared at his second-in-command. Was this treachery or wisdom? The Neveran military had always focused on conquest, not cooperation. But their homeworld was suffering from centuries of industrial military production. For the first time, the Neverans faced an enemy they could not defeat through force, an enemy that offered help rather than harm. The first step toward a new understanding had begun. 1 year had passed since the attack on the Mercy's Embrace. The large hospital ship Earth's Bounty now orbited peacefully above the Neveran homeworld. Unlike any ship ever built before, its hull was partially living tissue, constantly growing, repairing and purifying the space around it. Through the large viewing window of the ship's main biodome, Dr. Minji Song looked down at the Neveran planet. Despite being home to a powerful civilization, large areas of the world appeared dark and lifeless, damaged by centuries of industrial military production. "Their world is in worse condition than our scans suggested," Dr. Song said to his assistant. Behind him, rows of earth plants filled the biodome. These were not ordinary plants. Each had been modified to survive in the harsh conditions of the Neveran world. Some could pull heavy metals from soil. Others could clean air pollution. Together, they represented Earth's greatest gift, the power to heal. Dr. Song, the Neveran delegation has arrived, announced the ship's communication officer. Dr. Song turned as the biodome doors slid open. A group of Neverans entered, led by Supreme Leader Kavor. Kavor had replaced the war faction leadership after the failed attack on the Tau Ceti colony. He was older than most Neverans in positions of power, his scaled skin showing a lighter pattern that indicated wisdom in their culture. "Welcome aboard the Earth's bounty," Dr. Song greeted them with a small bow. Kavor returned the gesture. "We thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Song. Our scientists have been eager to continue the work begun by Subleader Kirvash." Dr. Song led the group through the rows of plants. "These modified bamboo varieties can grow in your soil and will absorb the heavy metals that poison your southern continent. They grow quickly, reaching full size in just 3 months." A Neveran scientist stepped forward, examining the bamboo with wonder. "And after they absorb the toxins, they can be harvested and processed to extract the metals safely," Dr. Song explained. "Nothing is wasted. The processed plant material can then be used as building material or converted to fuel." Kavor watched carefully. "You could have used these organisms against us, created plants that would harm our world rather than heal it." Dr. Song paused, meeting Kavor's gaze directly. "That would have betrayed everything Earth has taught us. Life succeeds through cooperation as much as competition." The tour continued to another section where large tanks held modified fungi and bacteria. "These engineered fungi can break down the toxic compounds from your weapons manufacturing without producing harmful byproducts," Dr. Song explained. Supreme Leader Kavor seemed troubled. "All this knowledge, you share it freely, without demanding payment or concessions?" From the doorway, a new voice answered. "Knowledge of healing should never be withheld." President Yoonji Cho entered the biodome, accompanied by her small security detail. Though now in her 7th decade, she stood straight and moved with purpose. "President Cho," Kavor said with surprise, "we did not expect the Earth leader to be present for this scientific exchange." President Cho smiled. "This is more than a scientific exchange, Supreme Leader. This is a new beginning." She gestured to the vista of the damaged Neveran world visible through the viewing window. "1 year ago, your predecessors attacked our hospital ship. They believed it would show your strength and our weakness." Kavor lowered his head slightly. "A grave mistake that brought shame to our people. Yet here we are," President Cho continued, "working together to heal your world, rather than harm it further. That is humanity's response to violence, not more destruction but creation." As they spoke, activity around the Earth's bounty increased. Smaller ships departed, carrying seedlings, spores, and bacterial colonies to the surface below. Each ship contained both human and Neveran scientists working side by side. On the planet's surface, the first test areas had already shown remarkable results. Zones that had been dead for generations now showed the first signs of new growth. Water that had been toxic now ran clear. The Earth's healing had begun. "The shield weavers that protected our colony have been adapted to clean radiation from your atmosphere," Dr. Song explained, as they moved to another section of the biodome. "They will make it possible to reclaim lands that have been uninhabitable for generations." Kavor studied the microscopic view of the shield weavers. "When we first encountered these organisms, we thought they were weapons. Now we understand they are the opposite. Throughout human space, the biological technologies pioneered for defense had evolved far beyond their original purpose. Living, shields now helped reclaim barren moons, detoxify polluted worlds, and create habitable environments where none had existed before. The technology was shared freely with any species willing to abide by one fundamental principle: respect for all life. The Earth Alliance had grown to include 17 species, each contributing their unique biological knowledge. "Supreme Leader," President Cho said, "I have a proposal for you. What would you think of Nevera joining the Earth Alliance?" Kavor's eyes widened. After what we did to your people, you would welcome us? The past cannot be changed, President Cho replied, but the future is what we make it. Your people have knowledge about adapting to harsh environments that could benefit all worlds in the Alliance. As they discussed this possibility, news arrived that would mark a historic moment. The first never-in-human hybrid vessel, named Reconciliation, had successfully deployed living shields to protect a vulnerable young civilization from a devastating asteroid impact. The ship hadn't just saved lives, it had seeded the damaged regions, with regenerative organisms that would help the planet recover within months rather than millennia. Later that day, Commander Tae-hyun Kim, one of the few survivors from the Mercy's embrace, stood at the memorial erected on the grounds of the new Intergalactic Medical Academy. The academy had been built in orbit above Earth and welcomed students from all species, including Neverans. The memorial contained soil from Earth mixed with samples from every world in the Alliance. From this mixed soil grew a garden of plants, from 100 different planets all thriving together despite their different origins. A group of multi-species medical students gathered around Commander Kim for the commemoration ceremony. 1 year ago today, I lost my ship and many of my crew and patients, he told them, his voice soft but carrying to every corner of the garden. I felt anger then. I wanted revenge. He touched a leaf from a plant native to the Neveran homeworld, now growing strongly in the Earth soil. But Earth taught us a better way. They fired on a hospital ship, and we responded by healing their worlds. That is humanity's greatest strength. Not our ability to withstand attacks, but our capacity to transform them into opportunities for growth. As the ceremony concluded, Dr. Song joined Commander Kim by the memorial. Both men had seen the worst of conflict and the best of cooperation. Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first proposed the Shield Weavers? Commander Kim asked. Dr. Song smiled gently. I hoped for it. Earth has always shown us that life finds a way, not just to survive, but to thrive. Now we're teaching that lesson to the stars. Above them, the Reconciliation prepared for its next mission. Its crew, a mix of humans, Neverans, and 4 other species, represented something new in the galaxy. The understanding that the strongest force wasn't destruction, but the stubborn, creative persistence of life itself. This was humanity's gift to the stars. This was what it truly meant to be human. The end.